Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to the Biblical Linguist channel. I am Dale, your friendly scholarly host, and in today's video we're going to be finishing off Matthew chapter 3. We're going to be going through verses 14 through 17. Real quick, before I get started with those, I wanted to recap on something that I touched on in the last video. One of my Greek mentors, Mr. Pavlos, it was verse 11. In the Byzantine text form Greek, it ends with "Avtos imas baptisi en pneumati agio." Obviously here, the Greek just says, "He will baptize you in the Holy Spirit." But the English translation and the Spanish translation both include the word "and in fire," which is omitted from this Byzantine text form Greek. But my Greek mentor, Mr. Pavlos, brought it to my attention that indeed the Greek Orthodox patriarchal text contains ke piri at the end of that, as well as the reading "and fire" is supported by Papyrus 101, Codices Sinaiticus Vaticanus, and many other manuscripts support the inclusion of fire. So we have a very broad range of support here. These manuscripts are from diverse locales and represent diverse text types. Papyrus 101 has undergone damage, but its testimony on this point is sufficiently clear. The first two letters of ke appear after the reference to the Holy Spirit, which would indicate that obviously piri was just damaged. And that fragment is from the 200s. So this word does actually, it is quite reliably translated as "in the Holy Spirit and in fire." All right, so Matthew chapter 3, verse 14. O de Ioannis diakulien avton legon, ego chrian, ego iposu baptistine, Jesu erchi pros me. O de Ioannis, but John, diakulien avton, would have hindered him. So diakulien, this is a new word to me. So this is the third person singular imperfect active indicative form of the Greek verb diakulio. It translates to "he or she was hindering or tried to prevent." In modern Greek, the word for "to hinder" is replaced by simpler or different terms such as empodizo, which means to prevent or hinder, and parempodizo, which means to obstruct or to interfere, often in legal context though. But this kolio verb does survive in legal context, such as in the word kullima, which means legal impediment or obstacle. But John would have hindered him, legon, saying, ego chrian, I need. Chrian here, in modern Greek, the word for to need is chriazome. This word very much still survives in modern Greek, which is cool. Chrian echo, I have a need. Iposu baptistine, to be baptized by you. And one thing that I learned about the theta in the middle of these words, especially coming after a sigma or something like that, it's awkward for English speakers to see the sound coming after an S, th. But and that is scary to an English speaker. But I've actually learned to adopt this construct conceptually as imagining the theta here as a T. And I did run this by Pavlos, and he did corroborate my train of thought here. But in this word baptistine, it's weird for an English speaker to think of it as baptistine. But if we conceptualize this theta as a T, baptistine, we could sort of spit the theta out in a way that it is more of a consonant, like a T, baptistine. And so this is kind of how I think about it. I just see it as an alternate T. And this isn't uncommon across different languages. For example, in Arabic, they have a te and a to. They have a se and a so. They have a de and a do, a ve and a tho. So I realize that's a different language altogether, but conceptually, the way I see this theta is not the same way we have the th in English. Not exactly, not in, like the word thanks, that, because in English we would never have a th followed by an s sound. It would just be very awkward. But in Greek, it's very natural if you just think of it as a different t. So that's just my 2 cents on that. Iposu baptistine, que su erchi pros me, que su and you, erchi, come, pros, before me. So how would I translate this? But John would have hindered him, saying, but I need to be baptized by you. And However, you're coming to me, like he's sort of baffled, like referring to Jesus. John's asking why Jesus wants to be baptized by him. It's sort of a humbling event here that the Son of Man has need of another man to baptize him. Kind of interesting. And that's kind of what I love about it, is mystery is built into these verses. You have to really think about them hard to really unpack some of the true meanings, because they're not just, you can't just take them at face value. That's kind of what I love about it, is you do have to explore. You do have to contemplate these concepts very deeply. There is a lot of mystery involved. All right, 15. Here's another theta. See if you catch it on this time. Apokritis. Think about it as apokritis, but it's still a theta, but you're going to sort of bounce your tongue off of it. So instead of it being a prolonged th, so instead of saying apokritis, you'd say apokritis. Still there as a theta, but it's more of a consonant. Apokritis theo Isus ipen prosapton aphes arti utos gar prepon estini min pliruse passan dikeiusinin tota affinisin afton. Now here's what I learned about Greek pronunciation. This would have helped me out considerably when I was just getting started. If you can't sing, then you can't read Greek. If you haven't taken music classes in your life, then you're at a huge disadvantage when it comes to pronouncing Greek, because I don't think you can pronounce Greek in a monotone voice. It is very sing-songy. I used to think Italian was sing-songy, and it is, but Greek is even more so. Your voice has to be very dynamic. It has to be ready to pivot on tones and accents. Yes, it's very melodic, and you have to be ready to sing it out. You're not just speaking like I'm just speaking in English. I just have the words and I'm just rattling them off out of my mouth. But with Greek, you have to be musical with it. And I'm by no means a master at it yet, but it requires you to sing the words out as you speak them. So, apokritis, theo Isus. Apokritis here means to answer. It's from the verb apokrinome. It's almost always followed by ipen, which is to say. So he answered him saying. Apokrinome, the modern verb for to answer, is apado. Apadisi is an answer in modern Greek. This is actually where we get our word for hypocrite from. Hypokritis is a hypocrite, originally meaning an actor who answers from under a mask. That's interesting. But yeah, the modern word is apado, spelled apando, but I say apado. Apokritis theo Isus. Ipen, see, ipen follows apokritis here. Pros afton. So Jesus answered, saying before him, saying unto him. Pros here means before, but in this context it means unto. Aphes, it's kind of cool. I got it confused with the word ophis, which means serpent. Aphes means to leave, to let, or to leave. And that's interesting because in modern Greek, my Duolingo app just introduced me to this verb. Affini means to leave, or, to leave it behind, or to let. Affino means I leave. So affino, affinis, affini, affinome, affinete, affinon. Affiseto in modern Greek means let it be. And you'll hear this a lot in modern Greek to refer to, leave it on the table. Like they'll also use it for like let him do something. So like let him leave would be affiste ton affigi. Let him leave. Let him go. Affiste, to allow. Arti here means now, at the present moment. Utos means thus. Very important word. Occurs 208 times. You'll see it all the time. Utos, thus. Gar, for. Very important word. Occurs over 1,000 times. Prepon estin. From prepo, which means it is fitting, it is proper. In modern Greek, they use this word a lot in terms of like, I have to do something, I need to do something. Like, for example, if I need to go, I'd say, prepi na pao, I have to go. Prepi na pao. And so, prepon means fitting, proper, or appropriate. So, like, you could use it as an adjective, for example. Den ine prepon na milas esti. It is not proper to speak like that. And yes, this root is the same as the incredibly common modern word prepi, which means must or should. So in the ancient Greek, it meant more it fits. In modern Greek, it's a universal way to express necessity. Prepi na figo, I have to go. Tin, from imi, occurs almost 3,000 times. Is, very important word. Imin, us. Pleruse, fulfill, but it's very loosely used, this word. pasan al dikeosinin. Dikeosinin here means justice or righteousness. Dikeos means fair or right or just. And yet justice in modern Greek is dikeosini. So this is a very important root to understand. Tota afisin afton. And here's this word for to let again. So how would I translate this? Jesus answered, saying unto him, leave now, because it is appropriate for us to fulfill all righteousness. And then he left him. Very interesting. So if I were to exegete this, how would I make sense of what's going on here? But Jesus responding to him said, the English says suffer it now, but the suffer here, it doesn't mean to suffer in terms of anguish. It means to leave it, forget about it, let it be for now. Suffer here is not a good word to use in English. Maybe in older English that's what it meant, but I don't understand it that way anymore, and it just confuses me when I see it. Suffer it now. No, leave it now, because it is upon us, or we should, or it is our task now to fulfill all righteousness. And then he left him, and then he basically, afiisin afton, he didn't leave him, he allowed him. And in the Spanish it says, entonces le dejó, which means, that could mean to leave him or to allow him to do something. And this is exactly how afiisin functions in Greek, just like in English. In English we have to leave, and leaving to us is different. Like leaving is departing, but letting is allowing somebody to do something. And this is what's going on here. He's allowing him to do something. I could use leave to allow. In other words, I will leave you to do your chores. I will leave you to do your studies. But it's more common to just say, I'll let you do your studies now. So that's what's going on here. This afiisin means to let. It's this afini verb in modern Greek. Afino, I leave. So ego afino, esi afinis, afto afini, imis afinome, isis afinete, afti, aftes, afta, afinon. I'm learning as I teach. That's why I'm so repetitive. All right, so we see in the next verse, 16, and here's this th again in baptistis, que baptistis o Isus anevi eftis apotu idatos, que idu aneochtisan afto I orani, que iden to pneumatu theu katavenon osi peristeran, que erhomenon epafton. Really trying to sing it. Sing it out. Lots of tones. Okay, so baptistis, Jesus was baptized. O Isus anevi eftis. So I know that eftis means straight. But what's this anevi verb here? So it comes from the verb anaveno, which means to go up or to ascend. Now what's interesting is in modern Greek, the word for mountain is vuno. And so I assume this is where this comes from. So what this word comes from, anaveno, ana means up, and veno means to go. Anaveno means to go up, kataveno means to go down. And so we see this in the common phrase, aneva in Greek means come up or get in the car. Aneva. So asanser aneveni, the elevator is going up. Anevike titimi, the price went up. And yeah, to ascend like a mountain, you'd say anaveno, you'd use this word for to ascend. Anevi, he went up, eftis, directly, apoto idatos, to the waters, ke idu, and behold. Aneochtisan means opened. Now let's break this word down. This is a scary one. So the modern word that I'm familiar with for to open something is anigo, and apparently anihto is also a good verb for this. Anixi tin porta, open the door. Yeah, it says this aneochtisan comes from anigo, so it must be just a conjugative form of anigo. Ke idu aneochtisan afto orani. The heavens, orani, here are heavens, opened before him. Ke iden to pneuma tu theo, and iden he saw to pneuma, the spirit, tu theu, of God, katavenon. So here we go. So funny how this word immediately comes up just after we covered it. Katavenon, the opposite of anavenon. Katavenon, descending. Usi, as, peristeran, a dove, ke erhomenon epafton, and coming to him. So how would I translate this? So Jesus was baptized, and he went straight up from the waters, apo, from the waters. And behold, the heavens opened before him, or unto him, and he saw the Spirit of God descending, usi, as peristeron, as a dove, coming upon him. Now this is cool. This is really crazy to me that the first time that we're seeing this anevi and this anavenon and katavenon, the first time we're seeing this venon root, they both occur in the same passage. And so think of it as Jesus ascended and then the dove from the heavens descended. And so there's sort of this meeting here of ascension and descension coming together. At this moment when Jesus was baptized, the heavens opened up. It was like this moment of convergence, if you will. Powerful stuff. And let's finish off with verse 17. As always, I'm referencing my favorite Bible reading app, the Cross Bible. It is headed up by my buddy Stephen Nelson at the Cross Bible on YouTube. He's always doing amazing live streams and collabs with other scholars in the industry. I highly recommend his work. He's always up to interesting projects. So, last one. Ke idu phoni ekton oranon lehosa utos estin o ios mu o agapitos en u evdokisa. I really like the way this ends. Ke idu, behold, phoni, a voice, ekton oranon, from ton, the oranon, the heavens, lehosa, saying, utos estin, this is o ios mu, my son, o agapitos, the beloved, en, in, o whom, evdokisa, from evdokeo, which means to think well, to approve, to consent, to take delight or pleasure from. So evdokisa means basically delighted. So how would I translate this? Well, first off, lehosa. This is an interesting form of lehosa. I've actually not seen this form before. This is the first time we're seeing this. And apparently lehosa is feminine, obviously, of the verb form lego, meaning to say. Okay, it's feminine because phoni is a feminine noun in Greek. So the word for voice, phoni, lehosa. So this is the voice that is saying from earlier in the passage. Okay, so now it's not so confusing anymore or mysterious. This root leo, very important root leo. In modern Greek we have lere, which means say, tell me, logos, which means word, lexiko means dictionary, lexiko, and then this is, I like this one, this is where we get our word logic from, logiki. So how would I translate this one? This one's pretty straightforward, and I really love the last two words, main words of this passage. Agapitos, from agape, love, and evdokisa, meaning pleased. All right, so how would I translate it? And behold, a voice from the heavens said, this is my beloved son, with whom I am pleased. And that will do it for now. Thanks so much for watching, guys. This has been quite the journey through Matthew 3. Next up, we're going to pick up on Matthew 4. I'm very excited to tackle chapter 4, within which there are 25 verses. So it's probably going to take me about 5 full episodes to get through that. But we're going to continue, and we're going to go through the whole New Testament. We're not stopping until it's done. So anyways, thanks so much for watching, guys. I'm Dale of the Biblical Linguist channel. End of transmission.